Or sparks, you can say that too. They were certainly flying last night. So who won and who lost? Joining me now, our political panel, Democratic strategist Monique Const and Republican strategist and communications aide for the McCain-Palin presidential campaign, Boris Epshteyn. Thank you so much for joining us, both of you.
Good morning.
Wow. Wow. So we can begin with that. What a night it was. We'll talk about whether, in fact, it actually benefited voters in just a moment. But first, let's talk about who won and who lost. I'll start with you.
Well, I think that Marco Rubio won the debate on the debate standards. He had the most to gain. He finally showed up and brought a fight. He wasn't a wind-up doll. I was like, whoa, this guy can actually debate. He's got some instincts here, which has really been the criticism over the past, 8 or 9 debates. And he really needed to woo that establishment support because his campaign needs their money and he needs the voter support going forward. Now, that's a whole other story.
But where has he been the entire time? This particular candidate, where has he been?
I have no idea. I think.
And is it too late?
I think it's too late, and I think that he's afraid that he may not have another chance in 4 or 8 years.
Now, Boris, you disagree.
I do disagree. I think Donald Trump won. I've got the Trump panel. I'm very excited about it. I think Trump won. Nobody stopped his momentum. There was a point there when you saw Cruz and Rubio really going after him at the same time. It was like two chihuahuas just going after the big dog, and he did a really good job with it, I thought. And I thought some of the points he made, like not letting people die in the streets, were so strong, not just for the Republicans, but for the blue-collar Democrats, for the independents. He really showed that he can enlarge the Republican tent. So this was the best that Rubio and Cruz could bring, and Trump said, hey, swing away, boys. He literally said, swing away, men. They did, they missed.
It was a lot of yelling, though, over top of each other. So, viewers, I don't think, had an opportunity, voters, to really hear what they were saying at times, and I think that did a disservice to them. But let's talk about that. Voters may have lost out in hearing some of the details. Who do you think lost out on the stage?
Lost out on stage, undoubtedly, Ben Carson. I almost feel like this is a waste of space even talking about him at this point because he barely was on stage. He had a few funny remarks. He was sort of the guy who brought in that comic relief amid the insane comedy.
Did someone come at me?
Exactly. But the reality is I don't even know why he's in the race anymore. He doesn't even have money to be in the race anymore. He needs to quit.
So you agree that
Carson should be out? Should be out now. And should be after Super Tuesday. The loser for me was Marco Rubio. He is still viewed by the so-called GOP establishment, which I don't know what that means. I was on McCain in 08, helped Romney in 2012. I don't know necessarily what the establishment stands for anymore, but Rubio definitely lost. He was the loser because this was his night. He brought the best game he had, and he looked so terrible. He tried to out-Trump Trump, and he failed. He looked mean, he looked angry, and he looked unsure on his feet doing it. This wasn't natural for him. It's natural for Donald Trump.
It's so interesting that both of you are a totally different take on his performance last night. But finally, quickly, who do you think will be the nominee?
This guy.
Trump?
Unstoppable. He's Teflon Don.
And you agree. So you agree on this part, right?
Donald Trump. He's the nominee. The history of the Republican Party says so. Three out of the first 4 contests. But also, you look at Super Tuesday. He's going to win either every state or every state but one. Maybe he loses Texas.
Do you think Texas? 155 delegates up for grabs, right?
But not winner take all.
Exactly.
If Cruz wins, maybe he gains by 5 delegates. And then Trump is up by almost 20 points in Florida, which is winner take all. Trump's the nominee.
And to play off of what Boris said, you could tell during the debate that he was shifting to the center. He was becoming more human. I, as a Democrat, was saying, this is kind of interesting.
Right. So we'll see. Perhaps a good strategy. Perhaps it will work. Thank you both for joining us. We will check back with you for sure.